Hi, I'm David Landis, and a storm just blew through. It was one of those storms where everything shook. Now the mosquitoes are coming out. Uh, Things blew, hail knocked the power out in the house, and we had the windows open too. Uh, During the storm, as it began, I realized I needed to check on the dogs. And we have one dog. We have two huskies, but we have one dog that is newer than the other dog that we rescued. And his personality is different than the other. As expected, Xander was out in the middle of the storm chasing a squirrel. If it involves play or if it involves food, he's there. He doesn't care what's going on. It doesn't matter to him if it's storming. He doesn't seem to matter how loud the storm is or how bad the storm is. It just doesn't matter to him. And as I was thinking about that and laughing at him, I was thinking about myself and creating and making, and I was thinking about you and you being there creating and making things and trying to figure things out. And I kind of saw the connection between this storm and how Xander was looking at the storm and the storm that I was experiencing today about creating this video and creating other things that I'm doing. And I was thinking about you creating what you're creating. Those emotions that pass through, those emotions that come that can knock our power out, those emotions that can flood our rooms if the windows are open, those emotions that can get in the way of us continuing to make and create and do what it is that we're here to make and create and do. What I want to share, what I've realized through this storm today, is that storms have the potential to knock things out. Storms have the potential to shut things down. But a lot of that has to do with how you look at the storm. I also work as a firefighter, and frequently in my job, I go to work during storms. Things happen during storms. People need help during storms. So I'm frequently out in a storm at work. So I look at storms differently than a lot of other people do. Today, as I was creating and thinking, and storms of doubt or storms of insecurity or storms of whatever rush through, it's easy to get focused on them right now. Easy to get focused on what's right in front of us without thinking about the fact that the storm will pass. It seems so real, it seems so important, it seems so desperate right this moment, but it will pass. And that is, I'm beginning to learn that more and more. I'm beginning to focus, remember, I guess not learn it, but remember it more and more. We can frequently know things, but to actually do them or to remember them when we need them is something else. Several years ago, my family went through something very serious, a very serious storm. And I can remember distinctly the day that I decided to change my focus in the storm and to begin to change the questions that I was asking in the middle of the storm. I went from focusing on the storm right here, right now, and began to think about the storm when it would be gone. Because storms go. They seem like they'll be here forever. And sometimes they last a long time. This storm lasted for years. It was very serious. But as I began to look farther down the road, focus farther past the storm, for myself, and then to remind those around me that the storm would pass, that there would come a day when this storm would be over. Then, in addition to focusing farther down and remembering that the storm would be gone, I began to ask different questions, the kinds of questions that would help me respond now to the storm in a way that was productive, but then it would also build a foundation, or it would help guide me through, questions that would help guide me through the storm in a way that I wanted to be in that storm, in a way that I could look back at the storm and say, yeah, I'm proud of that. I did that. And so today, the storm and my dog and my job and all these things came together in this thought about storms. And what are we focusing on? Are we focused on the immediate and the excuse me, and the desperation of the storm? Or are we having a longer term perspective on the storm and the fact that the storm will pass? And then what questions are we asking ourselves in the middle of the storm? Are they questions that will help us respond in a way that we want to respond? Or are they questions that will take us farther away from who we know we are? So here's the storms and coming out on the other side. Here's the storms and creating anyway. I'm glad you were here, and I am so thankful that I have the opportunity to do this and that we will talk some more. Thank you, be well, and I'll talk to you later.